Well, see, I think I'd made a film called Coma. I acted in it for a couple days, and then I had done Borderline with Charles Bronson and Tom Kibbe, who had gone to school with Chris Romero, George's wife at the time, was a casting director, and he had cast me in Borderline. And so when George was, getting ready to do Knightriders, Tom had seen me do some theater in LA too, and he suggested me to George. So we met. I don't remember exactly where we met, but I do remember walking up the stairs, and George was sitting there. And I don't even know if I read for him or not. But we talked about it, and I had been a pretty big King Arthur legend fan because I'd read The Once and Future King, and I had done a production of Camelot in Oklahoma City that had been really a turning point in my life in terms of deciding to be an actor. I played King Arthur. So I was very interested in the subject matter, Anyhow, it worked out. He asked me if I'd play King Billy, and I said, yeah. Well, in terms of working on the film and preparing King Billy, I think I was doing a play at the time. The gal I was with, we were doing a Cowboy Mouth production, Sam Shepard play that he wrote with Patti Smith. And the script, the Knightriders script was very tight in a way, and very descriptive of who this guy was. And my preparation was basically getting on a motorcycle, which I wasn't really a motorcycle rider, but borrowed a friend's, I think, and got where I felt pretty comfortable, and then and just reading the script and just getting into the King Billy. I haven't seen the film for a while, but I remember I was being honored somewhere, Santa Barbara Film Festival or something. They showed a clip, the scene where he comes in and he's been in jail, and he comes back and they're having a council meeting, and King Billy says about 85 times, "Is this a council meeting? You can't have a, is this a council meeting? You're having a council meeting. You can't have a council meeting." Blah, 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 blah. Which was hysterical to me. I was totally into it, man. I was very intense about it, and probably a little too much so, but it was a great time. It was an important time. Met some really great people, some of whom I'm really still good friends with,
This is a council meeting. You can't have a council meeting without everybody being here. You cannot have a council meeting without everyone being here. Or go shove your goddamn council meeting.
I'm not sure, the genesis of the idea for George to have this traveling troupe of players who, the main attraction is this violent motorcycle jousting thing, but they're also a Renaissance fair kind of thing where they're selling goods, leather goods, food, etc. And there is a very strict code of conduct within this community. Whether that is a metaphor for George in terms of dealing with the more corporate world of movie making or not, and him remaining a very independent filmmaker, I couldn't say. You'd have to ask him.
What's the problem, magician?
It's, same old thing,
The structure of this community, this film was made in 1980. Which was a number of, after the late 60s, early 70s, when communes were probably in their heyday. And I don't know, whether there's a political aspect to this or not. If anything, it's about can a group of people, any group of people, whether it's the United States of America or a small group like this, does it work? How does it work? Politically, what's the best way to make this thing work? Is it a democracy? Is it an oligarchy? Is it a, benevolent dictatorship? What's the deal here? Obviously, I think one of the things that George was trying to say is that the group does split up, but then they do come back together when Savini's group realizes that the lust for money and fame is not what it's cranked up to be, and they're asking to be doing ridiculous things, which is certainly a parallel to the Hollywood movie business on a certain level in terms of how they want to find the young actors who are going to be stars, and they put them in all these ridiculous movies and their careers are over. I'm rambling a bit here, but I don't think it's like an anti or pro kind of communist movie. I think it's really more about human beings and how they get along or don't together and what it takes to make a society work.
Did you see that?
Just because your armor will take a bazooka shell. Don't forget, some of us are wearing tinfoil.
That's your problem.
It was interesting because in the troupe itself there were kind of two parties. There was my guys and then there was Savini's guys, the kind of the Black Knights and the Good Knights, and they all knew each other. Tom and Nicky and a bunch of people, they kind of had hung out. They knew each other from Pittsburgh, and myself and Gary Lottie, Donald Rubenstein, who was Richard, the producer's brother, Patty, I think maybe, and I don't know. Socially, we kind of like was that way too. I mean, everybody got along, but there was kind of two camps of people who hung out, in terms of just what they liked to do, how they saw things, and because we, were protagonist, antagonist, basically me and Savini. I mean, I like Tom a lot. He's a totally excellent guy, and I don't know how much acting he'd done before that, but he's so good in the movie. He really does a good job. Well, we made this movie 30 years ago, so 32 years ago, and I'm trying to remember George's, how he was as a director. I mean, I totally relied on him, I know that. The more information I would get from him, the better. I mean, I think I felt very free about asking him questions if I had curious about something. And I think that he was very supportive in anything we wanted to try. I think there's probably quite a bit of the film that's not, that's extemporaneous in a way that happened on the spot, stuff that he liked, that he encouraged the actors who were playing the specific characters to, to get into their character and see where they'd go with it. So there's probably some stuff that wasn't scripted, but I can't recall specifically what those things might be.
All right, who proved what out there?
Morgan proved he could kick my ass.
When we were making the movie Brother Blue, who was a really beautiful guy who passed away a couple of years ago, the poet who plays Brother Blue in Maryland. And I remember during the film, because he was always very expressive and very positive. He goes, this is the greatest film ever made. We're making the greatest film that's ever been made. And it's like, well, Eddie, yeah, you're gonna win an Oscar. This film's gonna win an Oscar. This is great. This is the best film ever made. And so it's like, not that I believed any of that, but I thought in my head at the time we were making a really good movie, because everybody was totally involved in it, to the smallest character in the community outside Pittsburgh where we were filming. Everybody's very supportive, and so you had a lot of real positive energy. And then there was another film, a Borman film, coming out at the same time that was about King Arthur, which was a much bigger film, much bigger budget film. And they came out about the same time, I think, and it got a lot of attention, much more so. And Knightriders, I don't even remember who the distributor was, but it was playing, I got a picture somewhere, my buddy Art, we drove down Hollywood Boulevard and it was playing in some little funky theater down there. And it actually had my name up there, Ed Harrison, Knightriders, And I got a picture of me standing in front of it. Probably maybe two people in there watching it, but, just the way it goes, man.
Morgan's agreed to fight, and if you promise to sit on your ass and stay out of the way, there's still some of us that'll fight for you.
I don't know, one of my favorite memories of Donald Rubenstein, who wrote the music for the film, who had written the music for Martin, and he's remained a really good friend of mine. He's a musician, poet and painter and etc. And that song that he wrote when he sings in the rain, I'd rather be a wanderer, I remember that. I remember when we shot that. I remember it was raining. I remember him singing that. And that's always remained a pretty special memory to me because I think it's a beautiful song, and it was at a time in the film, I guess I was dead. No, I was alive. The character was alive when he wrote it, and then I think they played it at the end or something. But it's kind of a moving, nice, sweet memory for me.
Keep playing.
New song.
It's not finished yet. I'll play it for you someday.
I don't think I've seen it. I think it's in its entirety for a long, long time. You know, I've seen a couple scenes from it, but and my daughter, you know, daughter was 19. She's at college, and she's never seen it. You know, she's got to check it out someday, man. Well, it's kind of cool that it's coming out, you know, in the United Kingdom and on this DVD format. And it does have a certain cult following, I suppose, because it's out there, man. And, you know, it's a pretty bizarre little movie, and it's also unlike anything else that George did has done. And you know, it's got its own story to tell. So I'm glad. It's kind of fun that it still has a life, yeah.
Thank you.